Hello everyone, this is part 66 of What If Naruto Had Two Bloodlines, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Jiraiya and Tsunade sat on a bench near the park. There, they spoke and reminisced about the past, talked about the present, and wondered about the future. It makes me sick that the Akatsuki is a group of some of the most powerful and dangerous criminals in the world. To think that someone is actually able to get him to do his bidding seems kinda scary, Tsunade hinted as she looked to the large hermit. He knew what she was trying to say and got up saying, "Well, I guess I should be going." He tried before she could make her point. He had found out the location of the Akatsuki's mysterious leader. She knew that she couldn't change his mind no matter what. If the case was different, then maybe, but the man's grandchildren were at risk. She hesitantly wished, "Come back alive." This stopped him in his tracks. He was surprised to hear this from her in such a sincere way after so many years. She went on, "If I lose you on top of everything else, you'd cry for me." He smiled. "That's nice to know, but I doubt it'd be that bad." "Ha ha ha, you're a strong woman, so I'm sure you'll show that strength for everyone, if it comes to that." Tsunade looked like she didn't agree, so Jiraiya said, "How about we make a bet? You can bet that I'll and, with your luck, I'm sure it'd never happen." He got a small smile out of her. This gave him the courage to press on. "In return, when I make it back." What? She blushed as she felt she knew where he was heading. Normally, she wouldn't even give him the chance to finish, but this time, she had to admit, she was hoping to hear it. Seeing her cutely blush like an innocent young girl, Jiraiya began laughing. "Bwahaha. I'm joking. Hitomi would kill me before that happened. She may not want me, but she definitely doesn't want any other woman to have what was once hers." Tsunade's blush disappeared. She narrowed her eyes and grumbled, "Idiot." With his laugh fading but his smile remaining, he thanked her. "I've got a lot to thank you for. Because of you, a lot of good things have happened in my life, and it's all thanks to you constantly turning me down. A guy gets stronger and more determined when he's rejected, and he's useless if he hasn't experienced it enough to joke about it. He may even be able to write a book about it," he said while pulling out one of his books. Even though she didn't want to, Tsunade smiled at this. "So, it's the guy's duty to take on hardship, huh?" "Well, yeah, happiness isn't something that men are meant to seek, necessarily." Tsunade snidely turned her head and scoffed, "Ha, what's with that cool attitude? Without us women, then there's no one around to reject you." Jiraiya chuckled and agreed with her before she changed the mood of the conversation again. "If anything happens, send a toad, and I'll come for you right away." From what she said, and the way she was looking at him, Jiraiya could tell that she meant it. She would travel to hell and back to retrieve him this time. He had to assure her that she didn't have to go that far. "Don't say things like that. The village relies on you, so you can't leave." She came back. "There are plenty of others that could take over as Hokage." Jiraiya corrected her thoughts by stating, "A village can't stay stable if its leader constantly changes. Besides, there's no one who can do the job the way you do. There's no one that can do it better." This got through to her, but she still debated. "We have Kakashi, and then there's Naruto when the time comes. Kakashi's fair enough, but Naruto, he may have developed enough to hang with stronger opponents, but his leadership qualities still need a lot of work." "Well, I assumed that since you taught him the Rasengan, and since he's your grandson and his father's son." Yeah, I get it, but I taught him that on a whim. Seeing him and getting to know him better reminded me of Minato and Kushina." "Minato Namikaze? I haven't heard or spoke his name in so long, but I can't help but think of him every time I see that little knucklehead. They may look similar, but their personalities are pretty different. He was a kind man that didn't really enjoy causing others pain, but his spirit was incredible. That's something when it comes to one of the most bloodthirsty clan to come into existence. He fought his natural instincts and became favored to be the fourth Hokage. I was so proud when that happened." "Yeah, I would too if he were my son," Tsunade agreed. But, now that you mention it, I guess that Naruto really isn't much like him. If you ask me, he's more like his mother. Yuki as well, to a degree, she said while looking to Jiraiya. Realizing what she was saying, Jiraiya's sweat dropped as he tried to shift the focus. Yeah, I agree. Both of those kids do act like their mother did when she was younger, especially after she came here from the former Whirlpool country. Kushina Uzumaki, Tsunade mused. It seems that anyone we've come across with the Uzumaki name have been highly aggressive and stubborn. Whether it's games, fighting, or even romance, they never seem to give up. From the moment they develop feelings for someone, they pursue them to the best of their abilities, even if there's not the slightest inkling of reciprocation. She glanced over to Jiraiya with a blush but dully said, sometimes, I wonder if you might actually be an Uzumaki. 3 big sweat droplets rolled down the back of Jiraiya's head. Although he did want to be together with Tsunade, now wasn't the time to start something that he may not be able to finish. Come on now. You know that when I was younger, those 2 clans were too great of rivals to mix, even if the girls were really cute. He drooled a little. As he shook it off, Tsunade took it from there. She was such a little tomboy when she was younger, but she really did grow into a beauty over the years. And she finally got the guy she wanted and started a family. Yeah, she was tough to contend with in both beauty and fighting skills. It's been tough for Naruto to try and assimilate him to his own style, but he's coming along. He even wanted to try and add other styles to his own while we were gone. Looking down to avoid eye contact, still with a blush on her face, Tsunade lightly said, I wouldn't have minded having a family like that, one that I could be proud of like I am of yours as if they were my own. Jiraiya chuckled, it's funny how things work out, isn't it? If we had actually gotten together, you'd be Naruto and Yuki's grandmother right now. Tsunade scrunched up her face, don't tease me like that, besides, I don't think it quite works out that way. Oh, I didn't mean to make it seem like I was saying that to be mean. It's just, the kid's the last of AS breed. He's a one-of-a-kind phenomenon that may never appear in the world again, it's because of that I have to get going. I want to see to it that my great-grandkids are safe to come into this world and carry on my heritage. He wanted to say it out loud, but only thought it, I hope I get to see them. As he turned to leave, he remembered to say, be careful of the route, he warned. They said the goodbyes as he walked away. They both hoped that this wasn't the last. After returning to the village, and getting a couple of nights' rest in their own beds for a change, Naruto and Sakura were called to the Hokage's office. Tsunade hoped that this meeting would go a certain direction, so as to keep Yuki and Naruto from getting too curious about the grandfather's whereabouts. The 3 teens stood in front of the Hokage. To start, Tsunade informed them, we've raided several of Orochimaru's hideouts. In many of them, we found prisoners that praised Sasuke for eliminating their former tormentor, but there was no clue of his whereabouts. They all just stood there looking at her. She expected that just mentioning Sasuke would get Naruto to react. She figured that he would be the first to suggest that they be allowed to search for him and bring him home, but... Master, is there any chance that we could? Sakura played into her master's hand. Tsunade coyly said, the teams that investigated the hideouts lost Sasuke's trail. If I were to allow you to search for him, there'd be no guarantee that it'd all be pointless. She had closed her eyes and rested her head on her hand as she patiently waited for one of them, specifically Naruto, to say something like, we can't just give up. We have to try. It took longer than she thought, however. She opened one eye to peer at the young lad. From her perspective, she could tell that he was hesitating. Finally, he came out and said, if we want to get Sasuke, we're to aim for the same target. We find Itachi, we may just find Sasuke as well. If we could just capture one member of the Akatsuki, maybe we could get information about Itachi from him, Sakura suggested. Tsunade played, Itachi, huh. Yuki, would you like to take part in this mission? Yuki's eyes widened. To the surprise of everyone, she declined by rapidly shaking her head. If it were anyone other than Itachi, then maybe, but she didn't want to come across that guy ever again. Following her, Tsunade mentioned, I already have units out there trying their best to capture an Akatsuki alive if they can. The problem is that they aren't easy to capture, Kakashi joined. It can take much more than the usual 4-man squad to take on even one of these guys, much less 2 of them. I understand what you're getting at, Kakashi, but, do you really want to go through with it? Don't worry, I feel that this should work just fine, Kakashi assured Sasuke. Sasuke led his group to a large, secluded area. They entered to find strange talking cats that threatened them until they realized that it was Sasuke. It's been a while, Denka, Hina, Sasuke greeted. Why if it isn't that boy, Sasuke? What are you doing here, NYA? He answered, to get a few things, weapons, medicine, those kinds of things. It's time to settle things. Showing little interest really, one of the cats asked if he had brought them anything. Because he had, they happily led him further into the hideout. There, they met with an old woman surrounded by more cats and her assistant. They supplied Sasuke and his group with what they asked for and they were off. A giant sphere of water bursted. The water contained within spilled about, drowning the forest and turning it into a new lake. On top of this new lake stood Itachi and Kisame, who hoisted a tattered and torn old man with shaggy red hair onto his sword. Hey, for a minute there, I thought I was gonna be boiled, Kisame said with a smile. He then felt a few sprinkles hit his skin and looked to the sky. Rain, huh, a little bit is no big deal, but it could have been a little helpful before, he commented. No, it looks more like a storm, Itachi corrected. Well, either way, we should probably get somewhere dry. The leader will want to seal the tailed beast as soon as possible. Kisame looked at Itachi, if you want, I could take care of your target as well. I'll half KM just like I did this one. There's no need, I'm a bit tired, but I can do it myself. The sooner we catch it, the sooner I get to rest. For now, all we can do is take our time and search carefully. It isn't like my target will just appear before us. Yeah, that would be convenient, Kisame remarked. Imagine if the one you were after came looking for you, he chuckled. It had started to rain once again for the week. 8 hooded figures, and one big dog, stepped beyond the gate of the Leaf Village. It was lousy weather to begin in, but they wanted to get to it as soon as possible. As the downpour increased, the group set out. The sealing ritual had ended and the Akatsuki were free to go. It had taken them some time to seal the 4 tails, but they had done it. There was now nothing more to do, at least as far as the others were concerned. According to Deidara, there's Kakashi, and the 9 tails hosts, and there's Sasuke Uchiha. I have to repay those 3 from the Leaf and Sasuke. I was planning on taking out Orochimaru but was beaten to it. I can't forgive the little punk, so many people to pay back, so little time. Let's go, Toby. The Leaf, the hooded figures, and dog, stopped momentarily on the roof of a temple. One of them began cycling through hand seals and slammed his palm to the roof. From the smoke appeared several ninja hounds, including Pakken. They assigned who would go with who, split up into small groups, and left. Other than the dogs along with them, everyone was on their own while searching. The only group with more people than dogs was one with a big bulldog and 3 people. As the storm began to subside, they began removing their hoods. Yamato removed his single hood, Naruto removed 2 of 3 of hoods, and he watched as Hinata removed both of hers. Hinata, your hair, he pointed out. She was shocked that he had noticed. She had made another slight change to her hairstyle. It was down and twisted and tied at the end to make a single ponytail. She started, I've been thinking of finding a style that suits me. I've been unsure of what types of changes I should make. Well, what do you think? She shyly, yet cutely, asked. Naruto took in everything, what she said, what she was wearing, how she acted and carried herself. I think you look nice, he simply said. To be honest, I don't think that something like that really matters. However you want to look is up to you because what really matters is how a person is, and, Hinata, you're like the nicest person I know. She was speechless. She wanted to thank him for what he had said but just couldn't seem to get it out. She was so distracted by this that she was the only one that didn't notice that they were being observed. Sasuke, what are you doing? I just thought it would be nice if it was just you and me. Allo, ne, Sasuke, Karen cutely said in a sing-song tone after removing her glasses. Expressionless and unmoved, Sasuke responded, you act odd whenever you remove your glasses. Put them back on and get moving, he ordered. She stormed off grumbling, damn. Several minutes later, after standing around waiting for everyone to return, Sasuke suddenly said, come out. From the shadows stepped a cloaked figure. While it approached the unsuspecting, he He reached into a pouch. As he pulled out his hand, he was startled. Yamato quickly turned and hurled several shuriken and kunai. The mysterious figure avoided them and tried to flee. He was then surprised by the sudden appearance of Naruto right before him. Naruto threw a straight right, but the figure weaved. What he didn't see coming was that Naruto's punch was a fake. He had placed his leg between the mystery man's and tripped him up. As he fell backward and rolled, his hood came off to reveal Kabuto Yakushi, Yamato said, displeased at their run-in. Kabuto sprang to his feet but soon found his cloak pinned to a tree by a couple of arrows. Looks like I wasn't hiding well enough, he smiled. Sasuke, that outfit, you're a part of Akatsuki, right? So, you're the Sasuke I've heard so much about. It's nice to meet ya. Sasuke didn't reply in kind. Instead he asked, where is Itachi? You really do look like him, you know. I guess that makes sense since you are his brother, after all, the masked guy goofily said. By the way, Toby here, I'm new to the Akatsuki, but I promise you, I'm very strong, in my own right. Sasuke didn't care about all of this. He directed a glare in Toby's direction that caused him to back down and tremble behind a tree. This seemed over the top to Sasuke, and he was right because, from above. Ha! Deidara said, detonating a clay bird. Naruto. You should know that there's no way you can hide from me and my sensing ability, Naruto told him. His smile widened. Like I was trying to hide. I came here to find you with a purpose. You've got some nerve, Yamato stated. You're a wanted criminal back in the village, you know. So, what is this purpose you have for seeking us out? I've brought a present for Naruto that I believe he will come to greatly appreciate. He reached into his pouch once again and fully pulled a booklet. He hurled it to the leaf shinobi. They watched it as it flopped on the ground, unknowingly giving Kabuto the chance he needed to slip away. Yamato cautiously made his way over to the booklet and asked what it was. Hidden within the forest, Kabuto informed them that it was a book put together by Orochimaru and himself. It contained some information on members of the Akatsuki organization. Yamato picked it up and opened it to a page on Sasori. He then inquired, why are you giving this to us? Are you trying to make a deal for us to let you go in exchange for this information? No, I'm not looking to bargain with you now. You've already got the book in your hands, it's more of a thanks to Naruto. From where he hid, he could see that the three were confused by his words. He elaborated, after Lord Orochimaru SD, I found myself lost, I unfortunately had no clue as to who I was once again. With nowhere to go or belong, I was taken in by those you'd consider the enemy. Since then, I moved about countries and villages as a spy. Because of this, things like villages or countries hold no weight in my mind. I felt this way until I came to Lord Orochimaru, but, with him gone, I began to feel old feelings return. Without him, who am I really? The pain of not having an identity of your own, I'm sure you of all people understand, Naruto. Naruto and the others slipped into the dark forest as he continued, you probably question which you really are, am I Naruto Uzumaki, or am I the dreaded and feared Nine Tails? I'm sure this has crossed your mind countless times as you felt the stings of the hot gazes of those back in that village, but you chose not to let that get to you and believed in your own power. You are, without a doubt, Naruto Uzumaki. You know your identity, and, gaining the respect of your friends and even some of the villagers, you got that across to everyone. I, on the other hand, never tried it your way. I clung to Lord Orochimaru and his great power, but now, I'm more aware and better understand how you feel. I wish to be more like you, Naruto, and for that reason, with Lord Orochimaru integrated into my body, I plan on becoming a stronger and better me, that far surpasses my former lord. Because of this new motive, I thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. Just as he finished, Naruto and the others had him surrounded and were astonished and horrified at the sight of his real appearance. The skin around his left eye resembled that of Orochimaru. It extended from there to his ear and further down his body to most of his left arm. Even the smile he flashed them resembled the dark essence that was once seen in the sadist, Orochimaru. What? Hinata was speechless. She didn't understand what would make someone do something like this to themselves. Naruto sniffed the air and stated, you definitely stink of that snake, Orochimaru. Kabuto smirked, with cells of my former lord implanted within this body, I'll rise to great heights in this world. I'll have to admit, however, it seems that they're steadily trying to take over my body, but, if I can resist, then there'll be no doubt in my mind that I'll be capable of taking on powerful shinobi, such as, the Akatsuki, Sasuke, and let's not forget, you, he taunted. Both Naruto and Hinata tensed at this. He balled his fists and charged, yelling, go ahead and give it your best shot. Kabuto readied himself. He managed to slip by him and knock down a surprise arrow. He looked into the tree and smiled at Hinata. He then jumped upward to avoid the collision of the three below, revealed to be shadow clones. While in the air, Yamato took this as an opportunity to subdue him. Wood exploded from the ground in order to wrap around him, but he hacked him to kindle using a medic-enhanced chop. He was then caught off guard. Uzumaki's barrage. Kabuto was crushed by a heel kick that sent him crashing to the ground. Upon landing, Naruto began walking back to the clearing. Hinata and Yamato soon found why when they saw Kabuto's body, or a husk of it. He had gotten away, but maybe the booklet he gave them could be useful. Hebi. Juugo walked about the forest, searching. He held out his hand as he noticed a few birds flying overhead. A couple landed on his long digit. He asked them for a little help, and they chirped to him before flying away. He waited for some time before the same few birds returned. Once again, they perched upon his finger. As they talked to him, he said, I see. His skin began to change as his seal spread over his body. As if in a rush, he ran off into the forest. Who the hell? The armed guard never got the chance to finish as he was quickly beheaded. The unusual noise caught the attention of the two men inside. One went to check it out but was crushed as soon as he reached the door. Atop of the door on top of the man stood Sugetsu. He looked down on him with his smiling face and apologized, sorry, about that. He got off and yanked him from underneath. He dragged the guy all the way to the couch and forcibly sat him beside the other man. What the hell, you? As the guy sat forward, Sugetsu quickly used his sword. Very swiftly, he slipped one of the men's head into the hole in the blade and stuck the other against the wall by placing it at his T. With an eerie smile on his face, he leaned forward to say, you're the guy who does the bookkeeping for the Akatsuki's Kakazu, right? I want you to tell me what you know, if you want to keep on living that is. Sakura, and her company, made their way through the forest and came to a small village on the outskirts of it. As they progressed further, she noticed one of the dogs sniffing. What's the matter? She asked. One informed her, it's faint, but, sniff, sniff, I think I've picked up on Sasuke Uchiha's scent. A bit surprised, she said, lead me to him. They did as she asked and further entered the village. She was led into a river of people coming and going. It was becoming quite difficult to move about with so many people packed on the street. She even bumped into someone as she heard one of the hounds say, it's really close. Then, after a brief pause, I'm confused, it was close, but now it seems that it's moving away. I can also still smell it as if it were right here. Sakura began to look around to hopefully see some sign of Sasuke. She anxiously hoped that, maybe, he was watching her at the moment and that she could at least get a momentary glimpse of him. Maybe even for him to be within earshot so that he could hear her as she said what she felt she needed to say. As she searched, the only thing that caught her eye was the odd red hair of some random, dark-cloaked woman walking through the crowd. Other than that, no, she depressingly whined. She gazed down but noticed the dog's ears twitching. There's something going on out there. Sasuke. Deidara was a bit peeved that his surprise attack was rendered ineffective against Sasuke. The large snake protection coiled around him smoldered and fell to pieces as it crashed to the ground. Looks like he's got some SK, Toby complimented. Deidara didn't want to hear it. I can't believe that Orochimaru was taken out by a brat like this, He looked across the way and smiled at Sasuke's expression, and Sharingan. Such malice, I like those eyes, Toby. Itachi's definitely gonna be mad at me now. Naruto. Naruto had taken the booklet provided by Kabuto and was now sniffing it. He was thinking of tracking him down from this, but he was too distracted to bring it up. Seeing that he was unfocused, Hinata asked, Naruto, are you okay? Naruto looked as if he had been jolted from his thoughts. He turned to Hinata and smiled at her. She cracked a small smile as well, but it washed away as she saw him return to his days. He was a bit concerned with what was going on. Because he had come into contact with Sasuke, not only once, but twice, he knew that, at the very moment, Sasuke was locked in battle. If that didn't make things bad enough, the Akatsuki, Deidara, was his opponent. Naruto was conflicted on what to do. He felt that helping Sasuke wouldn't be the way to go because he knew that it wouldn't change his mind. No matter what, Sasuke would do what he wanted. Naruto was also concerned with whether or not he actually wanted it this way. He closed his eyes and focused. For now, he would just have to sit back and observe. A few minutes later, his eyes shot open. Minutes before, Sakura was still looking around. Once again, the only thing that seemed to catch her eye was the sight of red hair. It was strangely alluring to her. For some reason, she just couldn't stop focusing on this. That ain't good, one of the dogs stated. Sakura shifted to ask them what they were talking about, but, out the corner of her eye, she noticed the red-haired woman run off back toward the forest. With mention from the hounds, they did the same. She found it strange that the woman was headed in the exact same direction the hounds were leading her. This changed when the woman changed directions. With no time to ponder on where she was headed, Sakura and company continued onward. Shortly as they went on, one of the hounds mentioned that they were now the ones being followed. The other mentioned that he could smell Sasuke's scent coming from two directions. They were considering turning and confronting the mysterious woman, who may have come in contact with one of their targets, but Sasuke, moments before, a giant dragon, with someone pinned to its back, plummeted to the earth after having one of its wings clipped. As it crashed to the earth, several giant explosions occurred. I knew it. I told you that you'd in an explosion. Toby yelled. Stupid idiot. Shut your goddamn mouth, Toby. Deidara said as he emerged from the enormous cloud of dirt and dust. Oh, you're still alive, Toby comically stated as if he held no interest. This guy just keeps coming, Sasuke commented, obviously annoyed by all of this. This battle had, so far, left him shirtless, shoeless, scarred, bruised, and a little bloody. It was pretty tough, but Sasuke had to go through with it if he wanted to get information out of this guy. All he had to do was stay one step ahead, and he knew that. Looking into Sasuke's confident eyes, eyes that reminded him of his first encounter with those similar to them, Deidara himself began to become even more aggravated. Damn it, those eyes, they're the same damn eyes, I'm better than you. I won't lose. Not to you. Not to you. Deidara reached into his pouch and pulled a handful of clay. Sasuke anticipated something like before, but he was wrong. Usually, Deidara used his hands. This time, he ingested the clay through his own mouth. Sasuke had no idea what madness was coming next, but Toby did. Oh, if he's eating his clay, then that means. Muffled from having his mouth stuffed, Deidara managed to say, "This is my most powerful attack." Before spitting it all out. It poured from his mouth like a small waterfall. As it touched the ground, it began collecting together and building and forming into something massive, a monolithic version of Deidara. Upon seeing this massive creation, Toby wasted no time in hightailing it out of there. Taking a page out of his playbook, Sasuke followed suit. You really think you can get away from my C4 Karura? Deidara immediately detonated it to ensure that Sasuke didn't get too far. Once again, Sasuke was surprised. He expected a huge explosion, but, instead, it crumbled and seemingly faded away. It wasn't until he made his usual seal and many unfortunate animals crumbled to nothing that Sasuke realized how serious a threat this was. I win. Deidara exclaimed. ART is a bang. In the distance, Sasuke tried his best to get out of range of this attack. Unfortunately, he wasn't as fast as he thought. His body began breaking up and dissolving into nothing. His smile widened as Deidara witnessed this. He was ecstatic that he had finally accomplished destroying a wielder of the Sharingan. A strange sensation was felt. Deidara turned to see a transformed Sasuke appear right in front of him. He had no time to react as Sasuke thrusted his hand through his body using a Chidori. You used invisible bombs, but, thanks to my Sharingan, I could see them. It gives color to chakra and I tracked them through that. I also noticed that you were flying just outside of the boundary of the cloud of chakra and figured that you were just avoiding them yourself. Then, when I saw the C4KU, that was my genjutsu, Sasuke revealed. I knew it, Deidara strained. I missed your heart on purpose. Now, tell me, where is Itachi? Ku, you think you've won? You haven't won yet, Deidara denied. Give it up, you're almost out of chakra. Sasuke was surprised by his ankles suddenly being grabbed. He watched the Deidara before him return to a lump of clay and looked down to see the real one coming up from within the clay bird they were riding. I trained my left eye to be resilient to genjutsu thanks to Itachi. Yours was nothing compared to Itachi's and that's why I didn't fall for it. This time, you'll really eat my C4. Kra. Once again, a big clay clone blew from his mouth. This time, it encased Sasuke and trapped him. Deidara distanced himself but found that Sasuke had been right. He was nearly out of chakra. The only thing he could do at the moment was fall to the earth and detonated the last amount of clay he could mold. He would have to act fast. Sasuke exploded from within and tried to attack and finish him before he could destroy him from the inside. Deidara detonated as he crashed into the treetops of the forest. He then roughly fell to the ground below. As he sat up, he was both shocked and horrified to see Sasuke before him. He couldn't believe it. What the hell? Sasuke began to slowly approach him. For every step he came closer, Deidara would scoot back. He didn't understand how this was possible. Don't you know, you can't show your hand seals in front of a Sharingan user. No matter how fast, I could read them. With every technique you used, I noticed that you used the Earth seal. Because of this, and the fact that I use lightning style and my Sharingan, I'm the worst matchup for you. Deidara got it now. Sasuke had defused all of Deidara's bombs with the use of his electricity, rendering them useless. He had set out to do this since the beginning in order to show him that he had no chance. All he wanted from Deidara was information on Itachi's whereabouts. Hopefully, this all showed him just how futile resistance was. He even told him that he had another technique if things didn't go as planned. Deidara didn't want it to end this pathetically, especially with Sasuke mocking him and turning off his Sharingan. He tried to get back up and continue fighting, but he was too weak. He had no choice but to resort to drastic measures. I'll win no matter what, he said while grabbing more clay. Seeing that Sasuke didn't seem to care, he was even more agitated. You could show some fear, don't you think? You'll be sure to S this time, you and those damn criticizing eyes. Sasuke responded, I don't give a damn about that. Just tell me where Itachi is. Deidara reacted by spinning off his shirt. He then pulled a string on his chest to open another mouth there. From there, he shoved the clay inside and flashed a sadistic smile. This is my ultimate art. We're gonna S together, he said with a crazy look in his eyes. Death will make me a piece of art. An unbelievable explosion that'll make incredible scars in the earth, and finally, my art will get the praise it deserves. Sasuke tried to run. Because of all he invested into this fight, he couldn't move very fast, however. The only thing that flooded his mind was finding a way to get away from the coming explosion. The explosion will cover a radius of 10 kilometers. Don't think you'll escape. Now, be frightened. Cower in awe, and cry your heart out. Because my art is a bang. An unusually large-scaled explosion caught the attention of many. To the several shinobi that had been scouring the area, this was a bright and shiny beacon drawing them near. What in the world is that? Several of the shinobi questioned as they saw it. Kakashi, what is that? Pakken asked. Kakashi answered, I know this feeling, this chakra, it belongs to an Akatsuki member we ran into a while back. Sakura and Karen. The massive explosion sent a lot of debris flying about. Even so, against the force and the warnings of the ninja hounds, Sakura tried to press on. She trudged on with the help of her mighty axe. She would slam it into the ground and pull herself forward, until what seemed like an entire forest was blown her way. Sakura acted quickly. She grabbed up her axe and swung with all her might. With her force, she slashed through the trees with ease. She felt a bit relieved, but it all washed away as more came her way. She tried to lift her axe again but couldn't. It had been planted into the ground too deep. She struggled to free it, and when she finally did, it was too late. KYAAAAAAHHH. Karen was behind her taking cover. She flinched as she saw this incident. With her years under Orochimaru, she had seen many things, but she was never exposed to this kind of thing so close. It was kind of surreal that she had seen people cut and slashed and left a bloody mess waiting to rest from it, but she actually winced from seeing a few broken bones. Hinata and Yamato. Both Hinata and Yamato seemed to be in a panic. They both looked everywhere they could, but WHWHWH, where did Naruto go? Hinata wondered. Kakashi's gonna be mad at me, what a disgrace, Yamato worried. Sugetsu had stopped in a clearing. He quickly pulled out a scroll and noticed the snake symbol on it disappearing. He did it. He unrolled it, opened a small bottle, and poured the blood inside onto it. Slamming his palm on it and adding chakra, he said, summoning jutsu. From it appeared a giant horned snake. Other than its purple skin, it was burnt and smoky. So this is Orochimaru's summon, Manda. I heard that he was uncontrollable to the point that not even Orochimaru could even tame him. He then found the answer to it after looking into the large, dull eyes of the snake itself. He saw similar tomo around its pupil like he would in Sasuke's eyes when he had his Sharingan activated. From its mouth stumbled Sasuke. He too was a bit burned and in bad shape, but not as bad as Manda. Seeing this, Manda weakly said, You trash. You used me. You used those damned eyes to control me. As his breath faded, Sugetsu said that he SD. You gotta treat animals better than that, you know. And to control them like that through genjutsu and all. I didn't have a choice, there was no other way, Sasuke defended. You had me scared there for a while. The two turned to see Naruto approaching with a smirk on his face. Sugetsu immediately reached for his blade asking, Who are you? Naruto didn't react exactly how Sugetsu expected him to. Instead of showing signs of being startled, he simply stopped a short distance away. Sugetsu kept his hand on his weapon and his guard up. Sasuke's breathing steezed as he said, I told you, what I do is not your or the village's concern. You can say that all you want, but that's not how I feel. It's definitely not the way Kakashi-sensei or Sakura feel, Naruto said as he began walking off. Sugetsu turned back to Sasuke to ask, Who is this guy? When he turned back, Naruto was nowhere to be found. He asked again, Who was that? Sasuke simply replied, No one. Sugetsu was about to question this but Karen and Juugo's sudden appearance distracted him from this. I knew you were here. Your chakra suddenly vanished, so I was wondering what happened. She loudly said. Once they got to them, she said, There was another signature here that I didn't recognize. Did he do this to you? At first Sasuke wasn't going to say anything. Sugetsu told them that the guy that was just there wasn't responsible, and this got Sasuke to talk. Right before we were able to get away, Manda and I got hit by part of the blast. The guy the first was fighting was a part of the Akatsuki, and he was a lot stronger than I thought. While he was saying this, members of his assembled team had a few thoughts of their own. Both Sugetsu and Juugo figured that it would be best if they took a break. Karen, on the other hand, couldn't help but marvel at how hot she thought Sasuke looked. Sitting on top of the largest building was the unknown figure, the leader of the Akatsuki. His spiky orange hair waved in the wind as a small breeze blew through the city. Through his ringlet eyes, he steadily watched over the city. He did this until he heard a woman's voice. Pain, he's here, she informed. He got up from the ledge and entered the building. As he walked by the blue-haired angel, he saw Toby step forward from the shadows. Deidara has SD, he informed. His voice was much different than it usually was around everyone else. It didn't sound as light and goofy, but, instead, it was deeper and in a more serious tone. So, how was Sasuke? Pain asked. He wasn't surprised to see this change in character from Toby, for he knew the truth. Not bad at all, Toby answered. He made extremely good use of his Sharingan, his eyes are already better than Itachi's. It won't be long now. So it's time to get the 9 tails. You do it. Since you're leader, I expect nothing less than success. The targets may no longer be under the legendary Jiraiya's guard, but, neither are helpless children, especially Naruto Uzumaki. He's shown some dangerous and formidable jutsu. There are also many that would come to their aid if need be. It won't be easy. Don't talk as if the target is some scary, unstoppable creature. Pain has never lost a battle, the woman interjected. I guess that's true, Toby stated. Anyway, I've said what I came to say. Tell the remaining Akatsuki members to hurry and capture their targets. He walked over to the edge, and then said, soon, our goals will be achieved, and then everything will be as it should. I will gain the true power of the Sharingan, the power that's mine, Madara Uchiha. As lightning flashed and the thunder crashed, he disappeared, leaving Pain and his partner to prepare themselves. That wasn't the end of their visitors, however. That guy, he can't help but order others around, a guy said from the shadows. As he remained there, all that could be seen were blood-red eyes and a dark, toothy grin. Is there something you want, coming here? The woman asked. From the shadows, with a flash of lightning, it could be seen as he turned up the corner of his lip saying, just checking in on you, don't you find it interesting that, although we've come together to help one another achieve similar purposes, that's as far as our common ground goes. That old fossil wants to gather the power of the tailed beasts for his own purposes, and I'm sure you have your own. And, what purpose do you have for allying yourself with us? The woman inquired. Another flash of lightning and it could be seen that his smile broadened greatly as he said, well, I have no interest in the tailed beasts like you guys. Instead, I have my own target in mind, he vaguely finished. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.